Welcome to the Juice Radio Talk Show. 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 Reality TV's church reviews. Let's talk happy love and marriage lifestyle. Come and talk with us. Come and share with us. Come and laugh with us. Come on and pray with us.
Regina and Clovis, special guests. You should be following your lead. Bless, subscribe on YouTube, listen on podcasts. We live on IG and Facebook. This episode is sponsored by Truth and Triumph Ministries.
And welcome to Money Monday. I am your host, Pastor Tawana Grant. I am so excited to be joining back with you on today. We are continuing in our series as we look at our Q1 reviews and the results. And then how do we set ourselves as we go into Q2? Want to invite you to make sure you go on the Juice Radio and Talk Show to subscribe. If you're on Facebook, make sure you like and share today's broadcast because we want to make sure that we are including those that we know who could benefit from the information we're sharing today. And so we want to make sure that we are enjoying the information. But then again, don't just be a listener. Don't just be a hearer also. Just make sure we're doing it as well. So we want to welcome those of you who have already joined us. Welcome, Stephanie. Welcome, Yvonne. We're so glad to have you. And those of you who may be joining us as well on our Facebook, thank you for joining us today. I am excited because today we're talking about how do we increase without burnout. If you're like me, it seems like our capacity continues to be expanded and stretched. I was saying, I think it was last year or the year before, that God is just making me a stretch master, where he is increasing our endurance and he's increasing our ability to carry more. But part of that also is using wisdom, because we don't want to increase and then burn out. We don't want to start the race and then we have to throw in the towel before we have reached our expected end, before we're able to accomplish the things that we set out to do. And so here we want to talk about really how do you drive scalability and growth through margin management, cost control, and operational efficiency, but also leveraging the people that you have on your team. Listen, we often say, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go farther, take your team. If you're looking to go far, if you're looking for sustainability, if you're looking for longevity in your business, you want to make sure that you're taking others along for the journey so that you don't give out in your capacity, you don't give out in your strength, but you have others who are going along with you and they can help you improve, grow, structure, and strengthen. So today is very key. So as we talk about, we're reviewing our numbers. We've talked about protecting them as we build. We've talked about ensuring that even as a leader, we postured ourselves so that we know how to take advantage of our moments, right? Sometimes we have moments and the moments are here for now. They won't last always the same seasons. They always change. So we want to maximize our moment and we want to move forward in things we were called to steward. So here, because growth is not just about making money, growth is also about how well you manage what you make and how well you facilitate the people who are working alongside of you. So growth and increasing in revenue, but sometimes we're decreasing in profit. There are people, the business is growing, but still we're cash strapped. So we know that there's opportunity for us to expand, but we're doing all of that and we are personally exhausted. So here, that doesn't look like winning. When we're operating from a capacity of exhaustion, we don't want to operate from that type of capacity. We want to make sure that we're strengthening ourselves in all of our lanes, that we're gaining ground without losing our grace. Whoa, that's good. That's good. We don't want to gain ground and lose our grace. The things to which we've been called to do, the capacity that we know we have, we want to continue to strengthen that lane. So here today, we're talking about how do we increase in those lanes that we've been praying for the Lord to increase our territory, to expand our band of influence, to open up doors that we definitely know we're intended to walk in. But how do we do that without entering into burnout? So we do that by building growth that is financially sound and operationally efficient and sustainable. We want to make sure that it's operationally efficient and sustainable. So today, because real success is not just revenue growth, that is a part of it. It is profitable, it is controlled, and it is repeatable growth. It's what we can do over and over again. We rinse and repeat. We continue to move it forward. We talked about that too. When we bring in a new product service, what we know we've done well with the first product, then we move in the second product service so that we can move forward. So point number one, revenue is not enough. Money is good, but we have to protect our margin. We have revenue coming in. We talked about it before. We also need to manage our expenses. So one of the biggest misconceptions in business is this: if I make more money, everything will be fine. That's not true. It is your expenses. If your expenses are rising at the same rate or faster than the revenue that is coming in, you're not growing. We're expanding inefficiency. So what we want to do is manage our margins. So growth margin, what is a growth margin? Gross margin. It is what is left after your direct costs. What is left after your revenue comes in and you take care of your direct costs? What is left? That's your gross margin. Then your net margin is what you actually keep after everything. After you've settled the books, after you paid everything that is due, what do you have left? So ask yourself, how much does it cost me to deliver my product or service? So again, we're looking at the bottom line. How much is it costing me? Am I pricing based on value or just trying to compete? Again, we've talked about it before. The luxury cars you don't see discounts because they're not trying to market to everybody. They're trying to market to the demographic that recognizes the value of their product. And when they recognize the value of the product, they are willing to pay for it. So as a business owner, as an entrepreneur who has a product or service, or you are of value, you have to price point your value, not trying to compete against others, because you know what you're worth. And so here, are my expenses increasing without intentional review? So are your expenses increasing without you doing the review of them? So here, some of us are so busy, but we're not profitable. And that's where we need to shift the lever. We need to shift our focus. We need to shift our clarity so that we are reviewing what we have. We're reviewing and ensuring that our expenses are not gradually increasing, but our revenue isn't, right? We're increasing in the expenditure in our cost of operation, but we're not bringing in sufficient increase in our revenue and our price point. So this is your moment to shift. This is your moment to evaluate. This is what we need to know, because sometimes we're not protecting what we bring in. You got to protect your brand. You got to protect your value. You have to protect your revenue. So here, revenue focus to profit focus. Shift from revenue to profit focus. Am I making a profit? That's what we need to look at. Shift from activity, because sometimes we're busy, but we're not getting anywhere. Shift from activity to now efficiency. Am I efficient in what I'm doing? Meaning, am I having enough margin and a gap in such a way that I am yielding a return on my investment? So again, shifting our mindset from just having activity. This is even in ministry. You don't want to be busy doing things that are not effective for the people, that are not winning souls, that are not discipling others. So even as you're a ministry leader and you're looking at how do I spend funding on programming and effective discipleship, we also need to look at, is it being effective? Is it being impactful? Because we want a return on the value of the time and effort and expenditure. And all expenditures are not always revenue. When you're in ministry, you're looking for the effect of the initiative to the body. Are they receiving what they need to advance and move forward? So here you want to make sure that you're operating from that capacity, because again, we also don't want to just have movement. We want to have margin so that we're moving and we're advancing it forward in such a way that we're gaining a margin between what we're spending and our profit and what we're getting in, a gross margin. Because if it costs too much to operate, growth will break you. If we're saying we're going to push to grow the business, but it's costing us more to grow, if it costs us too much to operate, the growth will eventually cause your cash flow to decrease and then ultimately to halt, because you're outpacing what's coming in. So point number one, again, we want to make sure that we are looking at not just revenue, but protecting our margin. What is the gap between the revenue and the associated costs? Point number 2, control costs without killing capacity. We're talking about how not to burn ourselves out. Now let's talk about cost control, but with wisdom. You have to be wise in how we operate in business, how we operate in ministry, because cutting costs blindly can damage your ability to grow. What do you mean? The goal is not just to spend less. The goal is to spend strategically. Because whether you're in ministry, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you have your own business you're operating, you still have cost is a part of the process. It's not something you can just eliminate. So now you need to understand, how do I use my seed, the money that I have? How do I use it judiciously so that it is a strategic spend, not just spending less? Because sometimes you might have to spend more, but in the area that is going to profit you the most, and spend less strategically in areas where you're not seeing as much growth, but it's still necessary. There's some elements to operating a business that is still necessary. You still need insurance. You still need your business certification, your business license. There's some things you're going to have no matter what it costs. So you have to look at it that you want to spend strategically. So there are 3 types of costs that you need to evaluate. Essential cost. That's what we're talking. These are things that keep the business running, the lights on and the doors open. They are necessities. They are things that you cannot eliminate. You cannot put it to the side. You cannot operate. Oh my goodness. I've seen people try to operate the business without insurance, the appropriate insurance, without having the appropriate certifications in place. And ultimately, your business will close. If you have you're just one event from having a substantial, significant loss in cost, sometimes lost in brand value, because you're trying to run too thin in certain areas. You got to spend, but you have to spend strategically so that it is advanced in the business, so that you have the structure in place. So again, essential costs. These are things that we must have. We have to categorize. We have to list those down. And then you want to look at spends that are growth investments, meaning these increase revenue potential. So these are some things that we want to spend. So we know we have to spend on our essentials. These are things that are necessary for the business to run. Then we look at growth investments. Where do I spend so that in return? That's what I'm trying to say. We don't want to spend willfully or spend without having a strategy. Your spend has to be against the goal. When you spend money, it has to be on mission, on vision, on goal, because that is where you get your return on your investment. So again, these increase revenue potential. I'm going to put money where I believe I am going to receive a return on the investment, and even more so. And then the next, waste and leakage. These add no real value. So these are the areas where we need to do our evaluation on your cost and our expenditures, where we are essential must-haves, where there are growth investments. These are things that could push the needle to also have more revenue return back to us. And then where we are wasting or have leakage that add no value to what we're trying to do. No real value, no real return on investment, no real return on all your energy. Sometimes as an entrepreneur, even as a ministry leader, we're spending a lot of times in things that are not giving us any advantage, that are not pushing us forward, that are not promoting the things that we have set out to do. And then we find out while we're tired because you didn't push on the things that give you energy. You know, sometimes we gain synergy, we gain strength from seeing the things that we know we intended to do accomplished. So put your energy, put your time, put your strength, put your seed, put the investment in things that are vision and mission aligned, because those are the things that also give you fuel so you won't hit and burn out. One of the things that fuels my mind is when I see things working together the way it was intended to work. And so that requires us to put our intention, put our focus, whatever we focus on, we give it strength, put our focus on the things that are aligned to the mission and vision. Here, why? Because your assignment in this season is to eliminate waste. Stop wasting time. Oh my goodness. Stop wasting time on things that are not benefiting you, things that are not pushing you forward, things that are not missionable, things that are not causing you to be at peace. We're putting time and energy in things that are disruptive. We cannot keep praying for order and making decisions that create chaos. We have to align even our decisions to the things that eliminate waste. Sometimes we're operating with people that waste our time, people that waste our energy. And so even in that, you have to align strategically because you have to preserve yourself. You are the asset. The business is the asset. How are you protecting it from burnout? How are you protecting yourself from burnout? So eliminate waste, optimize essential costs, optimize it. Where is it we can put into the things that are essential for the operating of the business, things that are essential for operating of the ministry, things that are essential to operating of your home. So there are ways where we can optimize what we do have. And we will find, and I found this to be true, we have a lot more than we thought we did. When we sit down and we evaluate, where are we wasting? When we evaluate and cut out waste, then we have more to appropriate to other things. Sometimes we're looking to get more, but we're not using what we already have well. That's why the scripture teaches us if we're diligent and faithful over little, he'll make us ruler over much. And so we're praying for increase. We're praying for expansion, but we haven't handled what we have already to steward well. So think about that. Optimizing essential costs, optimizing your time for what is needed and necessary. Intentional investment in growth. So we have to be intentional. Where we stop wasting on one thing, put it strategically into something that will invest for growth. I'm always thinking and praying about the next move. Thankful for what we've already done. Thankful for where we've already come. But what am I doing next? How am I pushing the needle for next? So that's some examples that you can consider even on this week. You don't have to do all of them, but apply some of them. Are you paying for tools that you don't fully utilize? Some of us, and I've done this multiple times, go through all your subscriptions. Go through all the things that you're paying for that you are no longer using. Go through the things that were good at that time, but you're in another season. Are they still valuable? Are they still working? Do we have duplicity? Do we have multiple softwares or multiple subscriptions or multiple operating instruments that do the same thing? Then maybe you can eliminate keeping up one of them, and that gives you more time in your day. Consider, are you overstaffed in low impact areas, but understaffed in revenue producing roles? Look at it. If you have a product and it is your best seller, that's where you need to have people applied. That's where you need to have resources applied. This is where you need to make sure your supply stays stacked so that you can meet the demand. But then where is it that we are overstaffed or overstocked and we have a residual of revenue that is sitting wasted? We need to therefore look at that and see how can we reapply it in another way, in another capacity, so that then we can push in the areas where we do see true benefit. Sometimes we got to be realistic about what is happening. And that's why we've been talking about it. When we did our first quarter audit and then we had the results, now is our time to apply what we have learned. We have to apply it and make those kind of decisions. Why? Because strong leaders don't just ask, what did we spend? They ask, what did it produce? Not just, what did we buy, but what is the advantage of buying it? What are the results we're seeing? Because if we're not seeing that, every dollar ought to have a purpose. Every seed that we have has a purpose to be sown so that then in turn we water it and then we give increase on it. So if it is not giving you increase, then why are you still working in that? So here, point number 2, again, we have to really evaluate the things that we're doing because we want to control our costs, because that will also help us not to enter into burnout. Why? Because we're stretching ourselves too thin in some of our areas. So we want to make sure that we're doing the right thing. Point number 3 today is build operational efficiency to support your growth. Listen, you cannot scale what you have not standardized, what you have not established. And so sometimes we're entering into burnout because we're trying to grow and push, but we haven't established systems to maintain it. If you can't handle 5, you can't handle 10. If you have 5 customers and 5 big clients, can you handle them well in excellence? So I know we're praying for that, but you cannot pray for order and operate in chaos. You have to have systems in place that help the work move along swiftly and smoothly, and you're able to delegate, and that keeps you leader from going, a business owner, from going into burnout. So here's what we don't understand. We grow our revenue, but we don't upgrade our systems, how we operate. So more clients equal more chaos when it's not structured. You cannot scale what's not structured. More clients equal more chaos. More demand equals more stress. More opportunity equals more pressure. if you have not structured your operating capacity, whether it is in your business or in your ministry, more people on low established systems is crushing. It is stressful. It leads to more pressure. But because the infrastructure didn't grow with the increase, and that's why we're talking about it now, so that as we move into our second quarter, we're taking the results of first quarter, and then we are applying it to our businesses. We're applying it to our ministry, so that as we grow, we don't crash. As we grow, we don't create more chaos. As we grow, we don't bring on more stress. As we grow, we don't create more pressure. We grow straight. This is one of the things I say in our ministry. We don't want to grow crooked. We want to go straight. Forward is our direction. And if you want to move forward, you've got to make sure that you are tasking in the things that will align to a forward movement that is sustainable, a forward movement that helps you to grow, a forward movement that is iterative, that you're running your race and that you're pacing yourself so that it is a race that you can finish. You don't want to run at a pace so much that you burn out and you crash before you get to your end goal. You want to make sure that you're operating with efficiency. So here's some of the things that we can put in place. Again, build operational efficiency that will support your vision. You say you want to grow. What are you doing to ensure that you enable yourself and your team to grow well, to steward well? So some of the things that we can do, ensure that you have clear processes, putting people in charge, delegating, writing out policies and procedures, and then checking, seeing how you're managing, seeing how they're stewarding, seeing where help is necessary. Listen, I've learned this for myself. You don't have to talk about everything in the general group. If you have people that need additional enablement, talk with them offline. That's how you as a leader build trust. That's how you as a leader build the strength of others so that everything doesn't fall on you. Everything comes to you now because you built in such a way that they don't know that they have the right training, the right strengthening, the right support, and the level of approval to be released to operate. Here's where we have to do that. We have to have clear processes, define roles, repeatable systems. Here's what we did last Sunday. Here's what we need to correct, what our areas of improvement, and here's what we did well. So do what we did well again. Do what we did well again, and then add in the things that we said what we need to pivot and strengthen. The same thing in the business. Where there are wins, where we're advancing, continue to do that well. But here's what we've seen: there are opportunities for improvement, there are opportunities to advance, opportunities to pivot, opportunities of growth, and engage on those things so that next week will be better than this week. Otherwise, we'll continue to iterate in the same areas of error. Don't let our error become a fault, meaning that we do the same thing till it has become a habit. And so that we align to things that are dysfunctional when we don't have to. And then we normalize dysfunction, and then it's difficult to change the ship. It's difficult. While we understand it now, create clear processes, create systems, create operational readiness so that you and your team know how to move forward. It is not aligned just to one person, but it is aligned to the vision and mission. If the vision and mission is limited to one person, it will die when that one person is not there. It will fall on the ground when that one person is not there to push it. But when everyone knows what the mission is and everyone knows what the vision is, that's why it's so important that it is a team effort to move it forward. So ask yourself, here's some questions today. Can my business run smoothly without me in every detail? Can it move forward? Can it still coexist and operate if I'm not there with my hands on everything? We recognize that there are some pieces that, yes, as the business owner, you are aligned to it. That is your responsibility and your accountability. But you don't have to be there to open the door. You don't have to be there to make sure everything is set up. There's some things that there should be some other hands who are specifically called, equipped, and graced to ensure it moves forward. Whether it is in business or in ministry, delegation is key. We see that throughout the Bible, throughout Scripture, how others came along to help with the work to get it done. There is strength in numbers. So here, your first question to ask yourself, Can my business or ministry run smoothly without me in every detail? Ask yourself, are my workflows documented or just in my head? I'm working on that myself. There's some areas in ministry that we are working on documentation, policy, procedures, because it is necessary. You cannot scale what you have not structured. And structure requires. This is a requirement. Even in business, it is a requirement that you have policies and procedures. Why? Because that's how everyone knows how to operate collectively, collaboratively, cohesively together. That's how you get the work done. So it's not a might or optional, rather. It is a necessity. I know sometimes we feel like, well, it's in my head. Yes, but what happens when you're not available? We're talking about today how to get out of burnout, how to structure in such a way that everything is not on you. But you got to make sure, again, that you are putting it into good hands. So that is an aspect of it. Even if you have the right policies and procedures, if you put it in the wrong hands, it still won't go well. So there's a level of discernment, a level of wisdom, a level of clarity, revelation that you have to use even in your business to make sure that you're putting the procedures and operational excellence in the hands of people who can do it. Because sometimes everybody have a desire, but they don't have capacity. Write that down. Everyone that you work with has a desire. Oftentimes they want to do, but do they have the capacity? That's what you as a leader have to evaluate. Do you have it? Do you have the mindset? Sometimes people want to do things. Do they have the right mindset to operate in that lane? Do they have the right capabilities? Because sometimes they can be skilled, but don't have the right grace. Woo, Lord, that's good. They can be skilled, but not the right. There are different graces that are needed and necessary as you operate in certain lanes. You don't put a person at the front of the house who has a bad attitude, whatever business you have. You don't put that kind of person at the front of the house. Why? Because they can disrupt your revenue from people coming in the door and ever coming back. So that's what I'm saying. You got to look at that. Are my workflows documented or just in my head? And then do I have systems that reduce errors and save time? Am I just repeating policies and procedures because that's what I know? Or am I putting in new policies and procedures because I know this will help us be better? You have to understand that. It's not about being nice. It's about being kind to yourself and your business and your assignment. Kindness is different from niceness. Niceness will have people doing everything. Niceness will have you people operating in chaos. Niceness will have people operating in their own design and how they want to do it. No, I'm going to be kind. I'm going to let you know what the rules are, and I'm going to let you operate therein. And if you're not, I'm kind enough to let you know you're not, and it's not working. So as a leader, you've got to be able to have that kind of boldness to recognize that you are given that kind of authority and responsibility. So you're responsible. So let's move to point number 4. I know our time is wrapping up here today. So aligning with growth, with capacity and cash flow. Again, our subject topic is about don't burn out. And so these are some of the things that you can put in place to make sure that you finish your race well. So just because we have opportunity does not mean you have the capacity. Trust me, I've had this in many places of my personal life where I wanted, opportunity came and God told me not now. And you have to be a disciplined person to be able to know that there's an opportunity and don't jump at it. You have to be able to know the time and season that you're operating in. Even though it'll be a good thing, it's not always a God thing. Because God is not just about the opportunity, he's also about timing. He's also about seasons. He's also about readiness. He's also about preparedness. And so to keep you from going in burnout, you have to be able to know when you need to stop, when you need to hold the course, when you need to stay steady, when you need to stabilize what you already have. And so here, just because you got an opportunity don't mean you need to open the door up for everything, because you might not be ready to scale that fast. You might not be ready to scale with that in this season. And so just because something is profitable doesn't mean you can afford it right now. Oh my God. I'll never forget this. I had an opportunity to buy more of a house, and the lady was saying, no, you can afford more. Let's just get you more. And I said, no. I know where I want to stay because I got to live in the gap. I don't want to be house poor. This was decades ago when I first had my first house bill. But you as a leader have to understand that every opportunity is not for you. Every door that opens up is not intended for you to walk in it right then. That's why you got to level set and understand your numbers and understanding your capacity and understand what you're working with and understanding where you're going so that you don't move ahead of where you want to be. Because if you move too soon, if you move too quick, if you grow too fast, it will be crushing. If you move too soon, if you grow too fast, it could be pressure. If you move too soon, if you grow too fast, it can be pressure, stress, and overwhelming. However, if you align to revenue growth, if you align to your operational capacity, if you align to your cash flow, you'll be able to operate it in such a way that you'll be blessed. What the scripture talks about, it'll be a blessing to us and cause us no harm. You'll grow with it so that it will be a blessing to you. It'll be profitable, not just in the books, but in your life. Because sometimes people are growing in the dollars, but they're losing with family. They're growing in the dollars and they're losing in their faith. They're growing in the dollars and they're losing in their strength and in their grace and in their talent and their assignment. They're growing over here in dollars, but they're losing out in their walk with God. And you don't want to lose that. Nothing is worth what he's called you to do in the earth. So here, you can be profitable on paper and still struggle with making payments. You can be profitable on paper and expenses still hit before your revenue is all collected. You can be profitable on paper and you have overextended yourself too quickly and you find the stress of it. So here's what I want to ask you. As you get ready to grow, as you get ready to expand, as you get ready, because we have some people who join us, you are contemplating starting your business. Ask yourself, do I have enough liquidity to support this growth? Do I have enough money? Do I have enough money that I won't cause my family stress and strain? That I won't cause myself pressure? We're talking about burnout today. So I'm giving tips and some clarity and some insights on how to stay away from burnout, because I try my best. Stay away from it. Because it brings on a different posture, and you don't want to have that posture. You want to operate in faith. You want to operate in peace. You want to operate in joy. You want to operate in strength. That means we have to operate in our lanes and in the timings that have been set for us. So here, do I have enough liquidity? Do I have enough money to support this? That's the first question you have to ask yourself. Do I have enough money to add on? Do I have enough money to do that without straining the capacity that I've already been called to do? That might tell you it's not timing. Timing doesn't mean God didn't say it. Oh, hallelujah. Doesn't mean he didn't say it. Just mean timing isn't right. Can my current team handle this increase? You got to look at your people too. Can they handle it? I do this all the time, both in the marketplace and in ministry. Can they handle this? And be honest with yourself. Are they ready? Are they prepared? Would it be crushing? You have to evaluate that before you make your next growth move. Am I scaling faster than my systems can support? Am I scaling faster than my systems can support? Am I trying to do something that's taking me too quick? And it's not only going to be crushing on you, leader, not just you as a business owner, it's going to be crushing on your team, whether it's in your marketplace business, whether it's in your entrepreneurship, your business ownership, or your ministry. It's not just going to be pressure for you. It's going to be pressure for everybody else. Are they ready? Is this the season? Is this the timing? Don't feel, thank you, Holy Spirit. Before we close out today, do not feel like going slow. You're going to miss an opportunity. No, opportunity comes to those who are prepared. When you are prepared, opportunity is going to show up. When you are ready, and they always say success is when opportunity meets preparation. When you are prepared, when you are ready, when God has set the stage for you to win, know this. And so when opportunity comes, growth without alignment creates stress, but alignment, growth creates stability. Alignment, stay aligned for your assignment. So I hope you gleaned something today. Thank you for joining us on Money Monday. I think I have a lot of folks out here. Thank you, Sister Ann, for joining us. Cheryl, Director Cheryl, I see you out there. Kim. Oh, Pastor Henry, thank you. Sean, LaShawn, thank you, LaShawn, for joining. Sister Ann, also on the other side, Pastor Lorenzo, God bless you. Thank you for joining us today. I think I have Stephanie out there. Thank you. Yang, thank you for joining today. Also having here Yvonne, thank you for joining. And those of you who are joining us even afterwards, Stephanie, thank you so much today. We appreciate you. Sister Marcia, thank you for joining. Brian, thank you for joining today. If you have questions, feel free to put it in the chat. We will try and respond on either online or in our next broadcast. Peace and blessings to you today. If you watch us during the replay, just type in the chat replay. Sister Stangster, thank you for joining us today. We pray that you gleaned from our teaching. Happy Monday to you today. Be blessed.